So I guess this was the season finale. Let's talk about it. What's going on, y'all? Did you get into Chrisean, Rock, and Blueface Crazy in Love episode 6, which apparently is the season finale? It was deep. It was deep. Well, we tried to make it deep, but Chrisean put up her flippant attitude, acting like a damn middle school girl. I don't know if it's because she's drunk all the time, which is probably why. I don't know if it's the drugs that she's on, doing, marijuana and other things allegedly. I don't know if it's perhaps her mother was doing drugs when, she was pregnant with her. I don't know. But it seems something just isn't clicking. She's not acting like a functional adult. And you can tell that therapist was getting really, really irritated. Really, really irritated with her. And now we know that she herself is pregnant with all the things that came out in the news. So I really hope that she doesn't do drugs and drinks while she's pregnant with her baby. And I hope she stops fighting people when she's pregnant or while she's pregnant, because it looks like she got into a fight or was involved in a fight with somebody or a scuffle. It's like, girl, if you know you're pregnant, don't even get involved. It doesn't matter if it was your fight. Just don't get involved. It's just a bad look. But anyway, we see at the beginning of the episode that they are going on a date night. Chrisean is wearing this like nudish dress with these white squiggly things. I was gonna think it looked cute, but like kind of like on the front of the of the ensemble, it was like this dangly little, like, I don't know if it was a jewelry around her crotch area, and it really kind of looked like she had like balls dangling. That's what I thought about it. I was like, oh my god. But I was just noticing Chrisean, her face, she looked beautiful with, when her face is done up, even though with those eyelashes, is this a trend with the eyelashes, the oversized eyelashes? Like, this shit just looks low class. It looks like, you know what I mean? Just low class. But I noticed like her body on her arms, the girl got scruffs on her. The girl got bruises. The girl got dents. She's a tough one. She's a fighter, honey. She's a fighter. We did learn in the therapist session later on in the episode that her father or her stepfather used to abuse her mom and her sisters physically. Well, I don't know if it was other types of abuse. I don't know, but that's just what, she gave to the interviewer or to the therapist. So basically he would line them all up in a line and go one by one and slap them, ask them questions and slap them. She said that her stepdad would tie her mother to a tree and whoop her. I mean, she's seen a lot of things like in her life, and she's a violent girl. She's come up in the gut from the gutter, right? So she's got scruffs on her. It's just crazy. Like, someone could have such like, a pretty face, an innocent looking face, and then just be this rough, like, firecracker, like chaos, ball of chaos. Number one, she didn't need to be at a therapist. She needed to be at a rehab. Like, that's the first thing. First off, I've never seen in a therapist session, or I've never heard of this, like, you literally bringing yourself some cognac and a chaser, Red Bull, and during the therapy session while you talking about shit, downing cognac and drinking a Red Bull. What kind of therapy session is that? And then you wondering, where's the blunt? See, the therapy, no, you got to work that shit out. Get off the substances first, because all this is, the girl is drunk out of her mind during the therapy session, probably high out of her mind. Like, it's just, get that fixed first, and then we need to get to the other things. Now, Blueface seems to be able to handle his liquor and his drugs more, because he seems very sober and coherent to me. We get into in the therapy session and earlier in the episode at their date night, Chrisean just never seems to be happy with Blueface. Like, she's always examining something that he said wrong or did wrong that makes it seem like he doesn't love her all the time. And then she always cries. And I'm like, girl, how you gonna be this tough rock like fighter but then cry all the time? Like, girl, you gotta pick one, girl. Like this crying shit is irritating, especially when it doesn't warrant it. Like, you're crying over spilled milk. It's like, girl, stop. You were even crying at the therapist office even though you claimed that you didn't care. This whole thing about this generation too, like, well, younger generation, even my generation, this whole acting like we don't care, being so nonchalant. I mean, that's just the way it is, man. Like, I don't know. I just moved on to the next. Just rushing stuff off. It's in an attempt to be cool because that's the cool thing to do. You don't want to seem like you pressed, but it's not acknowledging, negative things in your life. Is just sort of like suppressing them, and that shit is gonna come out in other ways. You know what I mean? So both of them were just so nonchalant, so nonchalant, so nonchalant. But what really kind of caught my attention was when Chrisean brought up God, right? And the therapist asked her, like, how do you deal with this? Like, how do you deal with everything? And she's like, well, I got God, and God, I just pray to God about it, and, he fixed it, and that's just what it's gonna be, And that mindset has really been a disservice to Black people, honestly. Because we are so like, oh, pray it away. Oh, pray, pray to God, give it to Jesus, give it to this, give it to that. No, when you really need to go to medical help, therapists, psychiatrists, rehab, you need things here. Like, don't just pray it away. Like, I'm not religious. I don't want to get into, religion or whatever, but if you believe in God, God made things on earth in order to help you. So, like, God made rehabs so you could go to them. You know what I mean? So God gives you tools. So take the tools that he gives you. You know what I mean? And I'm part of the Black community, as, I just want to clarify, because people try to, oh, you light skin, oh, I'm Black, but my parents are Black, okay? So I can talk, okay? So this was like, for example, Whitney Houston's downfall, right? During her Diane Sawyer interview, she always kept bringing up God and God and God. Oh, I'll pray to Jesus. Jesus loves me and he's going to be with me always. But then less than 10 years later, she was dead. So it's like, you gotta, reach out and get like professional help. Like, that religion stuff is fine, but you gotta like use things that are in the here and now to help you. You get what I mean? Because honestly, Chrisean, this does not look like it's going to end well at all. And now that you've had you are now pregnant. Okay, this is going to get me in trouble. And I really don't. I'm not a woman. I don't know the struggles of being a woman. I don't know. I am all for a woman's right to choose. And in this situation, I think it is within the best interest of her and her unborn child, zygote, whatever you want to call it, to go ahead and terminate the pregnancy. I know that sounds terrible, and I was even talking to someone on Clubhouse, and they were like, they're super pro-life, and they were like, I'm usually against abortion, but she might need to get one. And I'm like, that sounds so bad to say, but I was thinking the same thing. Girl, raising a child in this environment is just, ooh. But again, she has the right to do whatever she wants with her body. I'm not telling her to do anything. I'm just saying my opinion. Like, it's not my place to say what she should do with her body. Like, I just want to say I'm giving my opinion about the matter. So yeah, because like I said, this is a complete disaster. The therapy session, the therapist, God bless the therapist, especially when he was dealing with Chrisean. You could tell he was getting irritated a little bit. He kind of rose his voice a little bit at her. He's like, okay, Chrisean, it's time to be an adult. It's time to be an adult. I mean, literally, she's like shifting around in her chair like a damn toddler who can't sit still. I'm like, this girl is 23 years old and she's acting like this. I just, we like, this girl is a ticking time bomb. And I forgot she got a case pending. She caught a charge and a felony charge. I forgot that when they were doing the montage at the end of the episode, she got a felony charge. Something about possession with the intent to use, does that mean a firearm? I mean, she got real shit. Like, she could really be going to jail. Like, a felony? Like, there's just so many other things. Like, Chrisean, she's just totally, like, obsessed with Blueface and just being with Blueface. It's like, girl, you need to focus on other things besides Blueface. Your whole life is Blueface, but you have so many other things that you need to be focusing on, like your court case. I know she's probably, drinking and smoking and doing other things to numb the shit that's going on in her head and her mind and whatever. Because of this whole situation and the cheating that Blueface is doing. And, I think in the cases, I think she's doing that to block everything out. And, and the fact that also, I didn't realize this until a few days ago or like a week ago or something, but she has had 3 abortions with Blueface. And I was just like, oh shit. I was like, oh my God. So I'm not saying that might be one of the reasons why she drinks and stuff, but I mean, 3 abortions. Like I said, I'm not a woman, but they haven't even, I think they said they started being together in 2020. So it just turned 2023. You've had 3 abortions already. Like, what about birth control? I'm just like, this is so terrible. Like, and in a way, maybe I'm thinking, maybe jail. The thing about Chrisean is that she needs to get off the drugs and off the substances. That's number one. Sometimes I'm thinking, is jail possibly the way for her to get off of those substances and get a huge wake-up call? I know that sounds like crazy because I know the jail system can kind of really make people worse, but I just don't think left to her own devices, she's going to stop drinking and doing drugs. And it's just not going to end well at all. Like, at all. I did appreciate at the end when they, said, like, this is their story. This is raw, whatever you thought about it. This was theirs to tell. And this is their authentic story, whatever. And I appreciated that because it was an adventure. We got into the lives of a toxic ass relationship. It was a roller coaster. And Lord knows if there's going to be a season 2. Apparently there's rumors about a wedding. They're probably going to, televise that, Zeus. They're going to get back together. I know right now they're on the outs and outs, or maybe they're together. Like, Chrisean said he's the type that'll break up with her that day and do whatever and then come home and fuck the shit out of her. So I don't know what they're going to, I think they feed off of each other. They feed off of each other, right? And interesting enough with the therapist and Blueface, the therapist asked Blueface, like, how he felt about Chrisean putting tattoos of him on her body. And he said, it feels good. I'm not going to lie. It feels good, whatever. He loves the fact and gets off on the fact that she's super duper into him, right? And is it a form of narcissism? I don't know. I will say it feels nice to be wanted. You know what I mean? It feels really nice to be wanted. I will say, back when I was in high school, I had a girlfriend who was really, really, really into me. This was before I came out. Really into me. She loved me. She would do anything for me. And even though I didn't share the same feelings romantically, like I loved her as a person, it just felt so nice that someone was so into me. So I could totally, see how Blueface felt, and You know, but he takes it to an extreme. Like, he likes the fact that this bitch gets so mad and fights him. He likes that. And then also, the thing the therapist said was when Chrisean wants him to, you know, pay attention and have a real conversation, and when she's upset, he pulls away. And then that just makes her even more upset, and it just causes it to get more. It's just bad, 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 bad. So, I will say this. I bet that sex must be good as hell. You know, the crazy couples, they have the best sex, honey. And I didn't know, child, they on Pornhub, girl. They on Pornhub. I said, damn, they just be fucking and showing their whole lives, their legal troubles. Everything is for public consumption and public fodder. They done put it all out here, honey. And I just said, wow. But at least they're making a good coin. But I did hear Chrisean say that she makes 6 figures. Like, oh, you know, I make 6 figures on the live when she was talking about how she don't need Blueface or whatever. And I'm thinking 6 figures, that's it? Girl, you need to be making millions. Like, the way you exploit your whole life for public consumption. Like, you need to be making more money. You need to be worth more than 6 figures. That's just true tea. Hopefully that was the drug speaking. Or maybe you so fucked up you don't have a lawyer to help you do your contracts. Like, girl, get your money right. If you only worth 6 figures, you need to be worth millions right now, Chrisean. You really do. So that is all I have to say about this matter. And this is the video the YouTube algorithm thinks you should watch next.